Welcome back to Bumblebee. I'm your host, Taylor McWaters. You're you, keep being you. You know what? It's a good day. It's rainy outside, but it feels nice in the soul. Here we go. Here are the top 10 unexpected discoveries found frozen in ice. Yeah, put on your winter coats for this one. Number 10, a frozen bird. Back in 2018, an extremely well-preserved bird was found in northeastern Siberia. This is fascinating. It was found near the village of Balaya Gora, and the bird itself was quite hidden, which explains its incredible preservation. It was found 150 meters into an ice tunnel, and the fascinating thing here, other than of course the, mummified bird, is that it looks like it died maybe a week ago, maybe two. If I found this, I wouldn't look twice, to be honest. I would be like, ew, and I'd walk the other way. It's just a dead bird. Looks like a normal dead bird. Thing is, this bird froze 48,000 years ago. Yeah. Studying the birdo's DNA has given researchers insight on the end of the last ice age, so yeah, he's bringing some science, bringing some facts out of his, frozen corpse. Number 9, preserved wolf pup. When this little lady went into the ice 57,000 years ago, I bet she had no idea she would ever see the sunlight ever again. Discovered in Yukon, Canada, what's up? Zur is the most complete wolf mummy that has ever been found. Period. Not bad. Not bad, Canada. Okay, I see you. She's incredibly intact. She was discovered in 2016 by a gold miner while they were blasting water at frozen mud. What a job that ought to be, eh? Just blasting out history. They thought it was treasure, but really it was just this little lady instead, which in my opinion, still treasure. She's still a treasured, valued soul. She's quite old to us, but when she went into the ice, X-ray tells us she was only 6 weeks old. She was just a little baby, a little bubble. X-rays showed that she also loved fish, so she had an appetite as well before, life happened. Number 8, surgeon notebook. Whenever explorers find notebooks, I'm so interested, right? It's like history, written private history, just tucked away. It's fascinating. Maybe I've played too much Zelda, I don't know. But notebooks feel very, national treasure to me. You know what I'm saying? Hold up to the light, see if it I like secrets. This notebook here once belonged to a surgeon. Now it's well over 100 years old. It was found in a frozen hut in Antarctica, and the owner was George Levick. He was a photographer and a surgeon, doubled as both, nice, fancy, and he traveled with the last expedition of Robert Scott. This was from 1910 to 1913. The book itself was completely frozen and the bindings were toast, obviously, but the parts that they can read today is pretty historical. You can still read descriptions of photos George took at Cape Adair. Descriptions of photos, that's, it's not the actual photo, but it's close enough. Imagine in 100 years you find a notebook and it's mine, just a bunch of cool S's, those like triangle of cool S's. I'm gonna draw one right now. Number 7, million-year-old plant. Back in 2019 in Greenland, a preserved fossil of a million-year-old plant was discovered, and it looks a little nice. It was tucked away under the ice near a secret Cold War military camp. An ancient flower was found at a Cold War military camp. What a headline that is. Look, that's a message. That's definitely a message. In 1959, Project Iceworm was underway. I've mentioned this before, I'm sure, on this channel, and that in itself is a pretty bizarre frozen feature in history. Now, eventually, said project was scrapped and it was abandoned fully, but cut to 2019, it was rediscovered. Scientists at the University of Vermont found parts of a million-year-old plant just lying around, which is honestly not what they expected to find under a secret Cold War base. They're like, oh, that's actually quite lovely and not haunting and military. Nice. We love that. The fragments were so well preserved that it looked like it died recently, not a million years old. This would make for a great corsage. If you're going to prom and you're Captain America, this would be kind of fitting. Shout out to Captain America. He always comments on our videos. You're an OG. Studying these plants also can provide us clues on our future and where our current plants might end up. Frozen and lost to history, apparently. Can't wait. Number 6, frozen treasure. As far as frozen treasure goes, this is very recent. We don't find these often. Treasure frozen in ice. This sounds like something from Ocarina of Time. Again, I want to throw a heat arrow at it and watch it melt. What's inside? Let's do it. Back in 2013, an anonymous mountain climber, can't imagine why they chose to stay hidden, they stumbled across this box. This box filled with jewels that was just jammed in the ice. Yeah, they had to breathe on it a bit, melt it up, but alas, once reported to the French officers, this box contained around 100 precious gems. This was quite the find. Emeralds, sapphires, rupees. This thing was worth at least $300,000 US, roughly. I find a 20 on the ground, that's it. I'm calling in sick. I'm rich, I won the lottery. So where did this treasure come from? Well, since it was discovered on Mount Blanc, officials were able to trace the lost gems back to an Air India flight that sadly crashed on the mountain back in 1966. Of course, the lives of 117 passengers were lost, and because of the conditions, it's been next to impossible to recover anything from the mountain, especially that long ago, right? It's buried. Somehow, these family gems were able to see the light again. And yes, the owner did return the gems. Only 2 families claimed the goods, so, they gotta fight it out, I guess. Interestingly enough, in 2014, a French treasure hunter, Daniel Roche, found 50 more pieces of jewelry from the same glacier. So, I don't know, start licking that ice. You might find some diamonds. Who knows? How many licks does it take to get rich? Start breathing on it. Pull out a 5. I'm like, yes, it's worth it. Number 5, 90-million-year-old rainforest. Yeah, we talked about flowers, but now let's get some more flowers in there. Back in 2020, while we were all catching up on Ozark, fossil traces in West Antarctica were discovered. Now this time, it wasn't a giant beaver or a bloody waterfall or anything weird. This time, it was lovely. This time, it was an ancient rainforest. 90 million years ago, when dinosaurs walked the planet, Antarctica was a paradise, honestly. Researchers compare Antarctica in the Cretaceous period to New Zealand today, with most days on average of 12 degrees Celsius. You know, it's like Seattle. I like how scientists compare eras with modern day cities. They're like, oh, the Ice Age? Yeah, a lot of Regina energy over there. A lot of burr, a lot of Regina burr, a lot of Western Canada. I mean, that's where we end up finding them. So yeah, I guess that does make sense. Number 4, the Glacier Girl. Okay, before you get worried, this next one here is a plane, not a frozen woman. So you can resume your calmness. A P-23 aircraft was discovered in Greenland, surrounded, of course, frozen in ice. Who would have thought? During World War II, July 1942, 6 P-38 fighter planes were ordered to make an emergency landing in Greenland due to lousy weather conditions and, of course, therefore, low visibility. The crew was saved, but the Lockheed had to be abandoned, never to be seen again for 50 years. It was then dug out of 264 feet of snow and ice. It took years to get this plane back up, which is now known as the Glacier Girl. And in 2007, Lewis Energy CEO Rodney Lewis bought the plane just because he just wanted it, wanted a plane, wanted a frozen glacier gal. Number 3, Grasshopper Glacier. Okay, time to get into a little bit of the gross, shall we? So, wouldn't be a Taylor McWaters list if there weren't bugs in it. Yeah, if you're not a fan of bugs, you can go ahead and skip this one. I'm not gonna take it personally. I'll save my jokes for the next one. A glacier in Montana is home to many grasshoppers and locusts. Yeah, frozen locusts. That's a fun word to say. Yeah, imagine heading to a glacier and you forget bug spray. Yeah, what a fool. You didn't think? Appropriately named Grasshopper Glacier, nice, the mile-long glacier near Crook City holds the remains of extinct grasshoppers. A lot of remains of grasshoppers. These poor guys were traveling to find new life, and they must have got caught up in a blizzard or two. Now they're stuck here for another few 100,000 years or so. This reminds me of those suckers that have like a gross bug in the center. You know, like those like popsicles that have like a scorpion inside, and you're like, oh, interesting. Who buys those? No one buys those, right? Number 2, Western camel bones. Scientific name being Camelops hesternus, meaning yesterday's camel in Latin. These bones first appeared in 2008 when gold miners were working in Hunter Creek, just 60 miles away from the Alaskan border, when they stumbled across these fabulous bones. What a weird sentence to say. These fabulous bones. Someone walks in, I'm like, it's animals. The last time these bones were operating, on living meat, was 75 to 125,000 years ago. The remains were in such great condition because of the offal surrounding ones. It was so cold that scientists could actually extract DNA still. DNA that told us that 10 million years ago, roughly, Western camels split from modern day camels. A long time ago, they were just like, you know what? No. How about that? And finally, number 1, Antarctica Pyramid. I talk about the pyramids of Egypt a lot, so I gotta mix it up a little bit, right? Once I heard about pyramids in Antarctica, I knew what was going on, right? Aliens, confirmed. Pretty much. Save the best for last. Back in 2016, a mountain in Antarctica was trending online, and we all immediately thought it was evidence of an ancient civilization because, well, that's what we want to see, right? That's what we're waiting for. Eric Rignot, a professor at the University of California, reached out to Live Science when this was all unfolding in real time, adding that, quote, pyramid shapes are not impossible. Many peaks partially look like pyramids, but they only have 1 or 2 faces like that, rarely 4. So this one has 4. I don't know. Aliens, frozen aliens? Just a coincidence? Who knows? I like to finish on a who knows. I've been your host, Taylor McWaters. We'll see you in the next one. You guys have been great. Peace.